Well, hello and welcome to Bloomberg Quint. Agam and I are here to wrap the markets for you as always. The Nifty and the Sensex, so the Indian indices extended the gains for the second straight day. In fact, the Nifty and the Sensex both saw marginal gains of about 0.2%, but the Nifty is up back above that 8,000 mark, and the Sensex also above that 26,000 mark. But both indices did give up some of the late afternoon trades, nevertheless still ending in the green. Talking about the Bloomberg Quint poll of the day, we had asked if the Nifty 50 index will hold that 8,000 mark. 63% had said yes and 37% said no. So yes, it did hold that 8,000 mark. Agam.
Right, but we also had some very big moves in the rupee as well today, haven't we?
Yes, that's correct, Agam. So the rupee has dropped to the February lows of 68.5. So the Indian currency is finally moving in tandem with the emerging market currencies. In fact, Agam, according to Deutsche Bank, the rupee could fall to 70 against the dollar by December end, and they've also predicted that the rupee will fall or weaken to 72.5 by the end of 2017. So now the Indian currency is only 28 paise away from the lows that we saw in February 2016 and just about 35 paise away from an all-time low of 68.845 that was last seen on August 2013. And on the back of that, we are also seeing the Indian bond yields. They continue to fall for the third straight session to fresh 7-year highs of 6.250%. But Agam, on the F&O front, rollovers, the pickup has been pretty slow.
Yes, the rollovers has been very slow. So at last count is with respect to the Nifty, if I can include all the series, we've had rollovers of around 41%, and this is lower than yesterday's previous 3-day average. So rollovers is certainly very slow for now, but I suspect that if we see some more strength tomorrow, we could see a substantial increase from the current levels with respect to rollovers. In terms of what's happened in the futures of the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, well, we have seen more additions towards longs, but that's also because we've just seen the Nifty gain. Let's also take a look at what's happened in the options market. Now we have seen the Nifty maintain itself above 8,000, which is why you're looking at more writing in the 8,000 put. Coming to the maximum open interest, now this is a good indication that we are most likely to see expiry between 8,000 and 8,200, because you're looking at the maximum open interest in the 8,200 call and the 8,000 put. So that most likely is the scene for now, considering we are unlikely to see a very big move at least tomorrow. Even if we do see a big move, there is a very small chance that we will see the expiry below 8,000 and above 8,200. But that's as far as the the futures and options space is concerned. Some key gainers today, I believe Lupin was one of the biggest gainers today.
That's correct, Agam. Before I come to that, I'll just give a brief of how some of the sectors did. Metals and pharma, pharma stocks were witnessing good strength, while the realty index was also sitting on a healthy 3% sort of gains, and now this is in addition to the 2.5-3% gains that index saw yesterday. But coming back to the Nifty, yes, as Agam mentioned, Lupin was the top gainer, rose as much as 5%, even as the company received a HIV treatment drug approval. Mind you, this is just a tentative approval, but the shares have really seen some good jump there. Apart, you also had Larsen and Toubro that gained about 2%, paired some of the gains though since the earlier trades, and this is even as in fact that stock has risen most in the 6 months on account of the profit beat and also job cuts that were indicated by the management yesterday. Brokerages, however, remain divided on that stock. HSBC has retained their buy, Macquarie has retained their outperform, and Religare has retained their sell with a target price of 1,075. That apart, metal stocks also extended their gains. Hindalco, Tata Steel, both gaining about 4% again for the second straight day. Some buying interest in those stocks. Vedanta also sitting on some good 3% odd gains. On the losing side, you had Mahindra and Mahindra, HDFC, Power Grid Corp, and also some banks, private sector banks like HDFC Bank and IndusInd Bank, which were seeing some marginal cuts. But Agam, as far as mid caps are concerned, I noticed that Adani Transmission was locked at that 20% upper circuit.
Yes, it was, and we've seen substantial gains there, as we've already mentioned. But I'm going to start off with the advance decline ratio, and for the second straight day, we're looking at more advances as compared to declines. In the broader markets, we're looking at 5 advances as against 2 declines, and one pocket of the market which has got really hammered in the last few sessions is realties, and that is where we're looking at a little bit of a recovery in a lot of these stocks. So let's consider and let's address some of these gainers. As Shraddha's already mentioned, we're looking at a 20% upper circuit in Adani Transmission, followed by Ramkrishna Forging, Moil, Himachal Futuristic. Now this is where it gets interesting. We have Suntech Realty, Indiabulls Realty. We have the likes of NBCC, Anant Raj in the realty space, which has gained substantially. Capital First is also making a little bit of comeback, gaining up as much as 8.6%. To take a look at some of the losers today, well, Alok Industries, of course, well, it's a penny stock. It's down about 5.8%, followed by Swan Energy. Swan Energy is now looking at weakness for the second straight day after 2 weeks of good up move. Well, Balkrishna Industries, Ramco Cement, Solar Industries, and Dena Bank, along with Apollo Tires, losing anywhere between 3 to 4%. But as you can see, the momentum today once again lies clearly with the large caps. Now, with respect to what we're looking out for tomorrow, we will have a reaction on the markets perhaps. First, on the FOMC meet. Of course, according to the Bloomberg poll, well, you have 100% bets being placed on a December Fed rate hike. And we will also have the US inventories in crude, which could possibly have an impact on the crude prices. So these are the two factors that could move US markets, and in turn could also lead to a change in our Asian markets, and that which could eventually indicate how we are going to open tomorrow. But of course, it is expiry. A lot is riding on the rollovers and the kind of positions everyone is holding. So for more on that, you guys can always come back and join us tomorrow for yet another edition of Market Wrap. But till then, it's goodbye.